Yes, people, you're locked into the Powerful Breakfast Show. Are you ready to be edutained? Powers. It's myself, 100 Eyes, on the Powerful Breakfast Show. And today, joining me are the lovely girls from UEA. How you lot doing?
Good. Oh, nice little round of applause. Appreciate that.
We're here. We made it.
We're here. Yeah, man. All good. All good.
Guys, did you feel that energy straight away? Straight away, man. It's good, man. Good vibes, man. How you lot doing?
Good. We're good.
Yeah?
We're here officially, finally.
Happy to be here on this Sunday morning with our peppermint tea. You know?
How's it tasting?
Good. We're enjoying it with a bit of lemon in there as well.
And honey.
Treating us right. That's it. The honey.
Big up, man. How's your journey today? Safe?
Yeah, it was good.
Sunday's alright. It's
relaxing?
It's clear.
Breezy drive?
But yeah, a bit breezy.
Oh man, you know, I'm so glad to have you lot in the studio today because I've been seeing what you lot have been doing over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years, isn't it?
Only a year.
2021.
Yeah.
You started, didn't it?
What was it? A year? About 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the South London branch, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're talking
So
about.
the Leicester branch has been running 5, almost 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
We are literally a year and about 2-3 weeks.
You know what, my bad,
Yeah.
I'm like a year ahead already. So
All right.
It feels like 2 years.
Okay. The peppermint tea got you, yeah?
I'm not going to say too much. Yeah, but I'm actually happy to see what you lot are doing because you lot are kind of leaving a legacy. Because you know what they say, right? When you see people of your ethnic backgrounds involved, you want to join, right? For example, like when you move to an area,
Representation.
it's representation.
Representation.
And I can see the growth. I can see more children joining you guys. Hey, before we get too much into UEA, yeah, talk to us about yourselves, man. Names.
What would you like to know?
Name for one.
Sarah.
Sarah. Where are you from, Sarah?
So I'm from South London. Grew up in Forest Hill, moved to Peckham, and currently in Lewisham.
Oh.
So haven't managed to get out South London yet, but you know.
Just bouncing around South, yeah.
Still there.
And what about you, Lam?
Lamia. I'm originally from Croydon, but grew up everywhere. Croydon, Wandsworth, Wimbledon. Went to school in Wimbledon. And now I'm in Kent. So I left the South life, you know.
You're still in South though, you're in the deep South now.
Nah, man. Nah.
It's a different type of
She's
house.
not accepted it.
No.
It's a different type.
No. I'm on the outskirts now.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I've left.
We have trees out the window, but out my window it's just sirens.
Yeah. I have sirens, I have birds and squirrels.
Oh, man. So we've got two different perspectives, right?
But we come into the hood to work.
We
you know, I have to have my distance, but we come back to get to the nitty-gritty and try and change life.
So, talk to us about the humble beginnings of UEA. How did you two meet up? And how did you get yourself involved in UEA? And how did you get yourself involved?
So initially it did start as myself and Sophie, who was one of our instructors.
Oh, big up Sophie.
Big up Sophie.
Yeah, big up Sophie. So it did start as literally a simple conversation between Sophie and I.
Okay.
So
why? What are the aims and objectives?
So with me, I've been horse riding pretty much my whole life.
Oh.
I've been into horses. It was my dad originally that got me into horses.
Okay.
And obviously I had my difficulties. I became Muslim during my time of horse riding, which then made things more difficult with wearing the hijab and having different clothing that didn't fit the riding standards. So just like, you know, here and there was little hurdles. And
sorry, what difficulties did you face?
Mainly that, like having a headscarf. Sometimes if you have a pin, like I have, it's considered as a health and safety hazard.
Oh, because with the horses.
Yeah, which I do agree with to an extent.
Okay.
However, at the time I was wearing I don't know if you're aware of like the Islamic clothing, but I used to wear the jilbab, which is head to toe. There's no pins involved, nothing. And I did experience a little bit of discrimination from certain riding fields, which expected. It wasn't something that I was blind to. I expected it. It was just disappointing. But that opened my eyes to a lot because I kind of felt at the time as a Muslim that I could no longer ride, which isn't the case. Which isn't the case, because even in Islam, riding is a big thing that is spoken of as a sunnah.
People have been riding since the beginning of time, right?
Beginning of time.
All over the world.
All over,
yeah,
everywhere.
This is it.
But I think that was more my doing than anybody else. No one told me I couldn't ride. I think I convinced myself because I experienced slight difficulties.
Psychologically,
yeah. But it ended up as a conversation with Sophie in regards to my goals and my dreams, which was to start something. I didn't know what, but I wanted to start something that other children and even women of any background could come to and could feel warm, comfortable and welcomed in equine, what I didn't have when I needed it. And Sophie introduced me to Urban Equestrian up in Leicester, which is run by the CEO called Freedom.
Boop, boop, boop.
Big up Freedom.
And it was actually Sophie that took the initial step to contact Freedom and say, listen, this is who me and Lamia are. This is what we would like to do.
Yep.
How do we do it? Is it possible for us to have a branch, or just tell us, like, how do we start? Obviously, I didn't have the guts to go and contact anyone and say, how do I start this?
Yeah. But she had a link there, I guess.
Not so much a link, but she had been talking to him. She built a relationship with him.
Okay, that's what I meant.
And he basically said, look, if you guys want to open a branch in London, take my branding, take my name, make it yours and grow.
Where's that Powers tag? Yeah. Big up Freedom again.
So it just started from then. Me and him had a meeting and he was like, this is who we are. This is my ethos. We pretty much had the same grounds of what we both wanted to do and we wanted to achieve and accomplish. He said, make it your own, run with it, do what you need to do, like, it's yours.
So just to clarify for the people, the original Urban Equest started in
Leicester.
5 years ago.
Yes, with Freedom. Yeah.
And that's when you two linked up and come up with
last year.
Wow.
So last year July we came up with.
What was the spark for that though? What was the spark?
It literally started as a conversation, and then Sophie invited a group called United Borders. You may have heard of them.
Yeah, the name rings a bell.
They've been on like BBC, and they've been on. They're quite a big group, and they're doing really well for themselves. Okay. And Sophie had invited them, and I think 5 or 6 young men that came to join us, and that was the spark. It was because it was like, we've got 6 boys here from the hood. They're between the ages of 16, 17, so they're at the prime now of where they're, they're taken off. And just to kind of see them at first, I'm getting on the horses, this is moist, I'm not horse riding. Well, by the end of the day...
Horses moist? What? Horse riding is moist?
It's a common thing with boys.
I think it's a bit gangster if I'm honest.
It's a common thing with boys. You'd be surprised. We have more females than boys, but when the boys come, the boys want to come back.
I feel like boys do see it as more of a girly thing to do a lot of the time. As sad as it is, because it is for everybody, but I think a lot of boys do see it as like, oh, that's what girls do.
And maybe because they're not introduced to it from an early age, it's kind of daunting. Like, men don't like to admit it.
Do you know what? I'm going to be honest.
Like,
that's true. It is also representation as well. There are not many, in a sense of black guys also riding a horse, so they don't see it. So for them to not see it, they're just like, it's moist. Yeah, because they're not seeing it. Okay, which is why, as well, even for like Freedom, his thing is like inspiring because he's a black man. Yeah, he's from a rough part of Leicester. Yeah. He's Muslim on top of it for us. Oh, good. And he rides like a G. Yeah, so he's so it's like, if there was more of that, then maybe it wouldn't be so like sucking teeth all the time. But
have you not seen that film, Harder They Fall?
Yes.
I don't think I have.
It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Oh, is it the one? It's got Idris Elba in it.
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
Freedom reminds me of the main character, actually.
Really?
Is it?
Yeah, his characteristics.
Just like cowboy.
What are they? They're based on the Compton Cowboys.
What? Harder to Fall.
I'm sure it is. I think it is. Or am I talking?
I think it's different characters from different times put into a movie.
I don't think I'm talking about the same thing.
You got
I think I'm talking about something else.
Maybe. But yeah, but that's why I said it just for reference.
I need to look it up,
please. Yeah.
But
How Did They Fall?
Yeah, on Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we had the United Borders join us, and that was like our first ever group, not officially as UEA.
Okay.
So it was kind of an unofficial thing, and it was something that we spoke about with the youth leader, Justin. He was like, you don't need to start. Like, this, what you've put on for the boys is sick. You guys need to start, like, today. And he was like, I'm challenging you today to start an Instagram, start your platform, and crack on from today. And so I did. I went home. I think I was up till about 4 a.m, just building a website, building an Instagram, doing everything.
Passion.
Yeah, and then from there, me and Sophie kicked off. And it kicked off.
Yeah.
I realised I needed more workers because me and Sophie alone couldn't do it.
It's a lot.
I put an ad out saying, I need people to come. I'm happy to train you. I'm happy to do a training day. Sarah was one of the first people to show up.
Jeez!
We clicked, and I've never been able to get rid of her since.
Stuck now, boy.
And yeah, it's just been that. And it's recently, about a month ago, we've also had another member join us called Sam.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've known Sam. I went to nursery with her son.
Okay.
So I've grown up with Sam.
Okay, good.
So I've got like a little family base where I've grown up with Sophie, I've grown up with Sam, now I've got Sarah here. We do have a funny story, Sarah and I.
Life is a funny thing, you know.
Care to tell?
So my kind of background of horses, I was riding from kind of age of 9, I'd say, through my teens. And the riding school that I was actually at, we both rode at.
Oh.
But we didn't know each other at the time.
But looking at pictures, it's like,
and we've matched it all up, like the timeline and everything. So we
probably crossed each other's paths at the stables, but we never spoke or anything.
Yes.
You know what? Your story is inspiring, proper. Because I caught you say something, but
Go on.
I don't know if you want to elaborate on it. You said you have a little family around you. You grew up with Sophie. I don't know that part of the story.
Yeah, that one's it's quite a nice story.
Yeah.
Sorry,
can you tell the people them who Sophie is first?
Yeah, so Sophie is one of our instructors at UEA, and it originally started as Sophie and I.
Okay, yep.
So Sophie is a big member of UEA, as well as at the actual riding school that we're in partnership with is Kingston Riding Centre.
Riding Centre.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Sophie's grown up in Kingston Riding Centre also, as well as me. Well, I kind of grew up there and rode there and worked there. So there's like a big relationship around Sophie, myself, and then now building UEA.
Okay, that's nice to hear that though.
I know Sophie through my dad, and I think my dad has known or helped raise Sophie from about the age of 5.
Where's the part? What?
So my dad has been like a big brother to Sophie and has known Sophie from when she was really young. So then obviously I've grown up and I don't remember not ever knowing Sophie. So it's always been a thing where, you know, we've had times where we've lost contact.
Yeah, of course.
But from when I can remember, I've known Sophie. I've been riding with Sophie, or she's taken me out riding. And Sophie was actually one of the first people to ever teach me properly how to ride, whereas my dad would just put me on a horse and say, go on.
Oh, so she's experienced completely, Sophie.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Would you say she's like an auntie figure, motherly figure?
It's weird because I wouldn't say for me.
Yeah.
Not so. I would say it's weird. She's more like even though she's a lot older than me, I feel like she's more of like an older sister.
Oh, okay.
I think because of how our relationship was, it was very much like I used to do the fun stuff with Sophie.
Oh, I see.
Rather than, you know, like education. It was always more the fun horse riding, or you know, I would meet up with her son, who was also one of my really good friends when I was a lot younger. Like I remember him like, vividly.
Does he come riding as well?
I haven't seen him in years, so I'm not sure what he's doing. I haven't seen him in years, so I'm not really sure what he's up to with his life, other than from what I hear from Soph.
How often does Freedom come down to the South London stable?
Freedom, if you're listening, he's quite cheeky because he hasn't.
Freedom's not visited.
As of
yet.
Okay.
And I hope he watches this back.
No, we're waiting for you.
He'll come.
He will come. I know he's busy. He is due to come down.
Yeah.
And I know he is proud of what's been going on. And, you know, we always keep him updated. We always speak to him. But we do visit him.
Okay. Actually, I see you. I think you went there for Eid. Is it Eid?
Yeah.
Yeah. When was it? July?
Yeah.
Time's gone this whole summer's gone so quick, by the way.
I'm telling you.
I'm just, letting everyone know.
So, we went there for their Eid fun day.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really good. That was the first time I'd been up there as well.
What's the headquarters like up there? Is it bigger than the one in South?
They've got their own stables.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
Freedom
see.
has his own. Well, he has an equine house.
He had an issue with the stables early in the year, didn't he?
Yeah,
About
he
something.
did, unfortunately. Yeah, so he
upgraded.
Yeah.
He stepped it, he bossed it up.
He
Got upgrades.
listen, he made that L into a W big
Hey,
time.
but that's what it's about.
Yeah, for real.
An L is still an L. It's always a lesson. It's never a loss. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's true.
I bet. Freedom, do your thing, my brother. I don't want to give no advice because it seems like you're doing your thing very well.
Yeah.
Do you feel me? The first Muslim jockey. Can you pronounce the name for me, please?
Khadija Mela.
Khadija Miller. So I only said that because I'm bad with names. Has she been to UEA?
Leicester.
Oh, Leicester.
She's not visited us yet.
Okay.
But I'm sure she will.
Okay.
I've had a couple civil conversations with her. She's a lovely girl.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she will visit us when she has the time. And actually, in her defence, I've not actually invited her. So that's something that I need to say. Listen,
Do you know what?
make a date, put it in the calendar.
Yeah.
Come along.
We need to have a couple of days where we're not so busy with the kids, where we can actually invite certain people
round.
in.
Yeah.
And just
We're going to go into
even-
that in a second about the
Okay.
summer program. But you see,
Slow down.
so let me lost my train of thought, man.
Sorry.
The
so
first
cool.
Muslim jockey in the UK.
Yeah, that's a
female jockey in the UK.
that's an establishment to have on your side, on your roster as well, isn't it?
Proper inspiring. Big
Like
statement.
proper.
Big
Mad.
statement.
Proper.
And she's young.
I see her.
She's young and she did it.
She got time as well to
She
just own
did
that
it.
completely.
Like,
Literally.
she just did it.
And South London girl.
Peckham based.
She's from Peckham, Brixton.
Peckham, but she rode
Ebony.
in Brixton, Ebony.
Okay.
Brixton Ebony School, right? Oh yeah, I saw that actually.
Yeah.
So are you the first UK Muslim jockey?
I'm not a jockey,
Oh,
unfortunately.
you're a rider.
I mean, I've had my here and there. I've got my passion. I was brought up doing dressage, and I'm not really a dressage.
Don't say it
girl.
like that,
So,
please.
I don't know if you're aware. Dressage is
No.
where they make the horses kind of do like a pretty dance.
Oh, see what they start dancing.
Yeah, and they like to, yeah. So my
I
dad
do like that though. I think it's cool.
It is cool. I think
Yeah.
it does build a good bond with the horse
Definitely.
and like understanding of your mistake and
Yeah.
how you're reflecting that through to the horse.
I've seen some dances actually.
I'm an adrenaline junkie.
When the horse gets it on time and the synchronization's
Yeah.
good,
It's
yo.
on point.
If you got the right
Horse can
music,
move, you know.
It's on point.
Yeah.
It's on point.
So what you said?
But I'm definitely more of an adrenaline junkie. I like to throw myself over jumps, and
Oh.
one thing I've never done but I want to do is a thing called cross country. That's where you see them like in the open space,
Yeah,
like in a
what?
field, and they're jumping over the hedges, over the little water things. Like I want to go into
Have that experience.
Yeah, I've not done that yet.
What would you call that? Is that equestrian shows? Equestrian show jumping?
Eventing.
Eventing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know you've done that before?
Done
No,
little
I've,
bits.
I've not actually. I've had a dressage
Yeah.
like competition, but I've never like evented.
Gone out into shows.
Have you?
Not gone out into shows, but at what are you talking about? Like the show that we both was in.
Yeah, I done that
Yeah.
show and then I done another one at a Ripley stable.
Okay. I've done kind of things, separate riding schools have put on their own events or whatever. So I've not competed kind of nationally, but on a smaller scale. So,
So how long did it take to prepare for a show?
oh, it depends.
Yeah, depends on
how experienced
you,
the
your
horse is.
horse.
All right, okay,
Yeah, and kind of, what level you're at with your riding or what kind of show you're going into.
You know what? I do like horses. I just feel like maybe I should have grown up with them to get accustomed to them a bit. 'Cause-
No, I don't agree.
No?
In what do you
I've got
mean,
my
though?
personal opinion. Because
Do
when I
you-
see a horse now, I'm just like, I ain't getting on that.
Overwhelmed?
But I think
Yeah.
isn't that
Okay.
would be more your misunderstanding though, because you don't understand them,
Okay.
which doesn't mean you can't learn. And I get it; they are scary at first, especially when you see like a large one. But I don't think you have to grow with horses to
No?
become a part
Yeah,
of
no,
it.
no,
Nah, man. I feel like
don't.
at any point, at any age,
Yeah.
if you really wanted to, I do think you could put yourself in it.
Definitely. I feel like for some people it's something that you're kind of born with. Like for me, all I cared about as a child was horses. No horses in my family, no one else in my family does horse riding. That's just something that I wanted to do.
Did you go to stables when you were younger as well then?
So when I was about 9, I started horse riding at stables. Before that, I'd get taken to see horses at different places, but I wasn't really involved with anywhere in particular until 9 or 10.
Oh,
But when you're a kid, you've got more bottle to do things. You don't think about things as much. So maybe in terms of riding, I feel like adults who learn how to ride, they do struggle sometimes with just forgetting kind of the safety aspect and just getting on with it. Whereas when you're a kid, you just do what you've got to do.
You risk it all.
Yeah. Sometimes I think of the things that I've done as a kid and I'm like,
dangerous.
Like, what was I thinking? But it's part of it, and I think that's the beauty of having that experience as a child, you know?
I think Lamia is right though as well. I think it's a little bit of misunderstanding, because when I used to watch horses, I used to see horses give the hardest kicks, and I'd just be like, nah.
Where was you seeing that though? What was you doing?
I said, I think you've been framed and
okay,
like that. You know what I mean?
But again, that comes down to what exposure does someone have.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Do you know what I mean?
But I grew up in concrete jungle, so I'm
literally
not seeing no horses nowhere apart from carnival. That's the
police horses.
Really.
Yeah, no.
But I think as well, even with saying that, that's why I feel like our story sometimes really comes as a big thing because of where we're from. Like originally I'm from Fulton Heath. There ain't horses there. There's no horses near us. But it was something that my dad was passionate about, that he brought us out into like a whole separate world. So it's like, that's another story that we can run with, as much as like we weren't brought up in the sticks. We was brought up in the jungle as well, in the concrete jungle, to say. But it was something that we was able to take ourselves out of.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Did your mum ride as well?
No.
Just your dad?
My mum's actually, my mum loves all animals. She is a bit nervous of horses, other than Sophie's horse.
Oh, Chester.
I remember her saying actually.
Yeah. So she's actually very nervous of horses.
Why Sophie horse in particular? Why that horse?
Chester's a very gentle soul. I feel like he's actually like the perfect therapy horse, personally.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Big up Chester.
Yeah, Chester's he's different, man. He's very soppy. He's very he's chilled, very chilled.
They got their own personalities, horses, isn't it? Completely.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realise that as well.
Yeah, every animal got their own personality if you study them correctly, you know?
Yeah.
Horses are just, for me, they're like giant dogs.
That's literally
like,
yeah.
They play, they have fun, they have crazy moments, they have zoomy moments, they have days where they're just not in the mood.
It's true.
They're just giant dogs.
And like that relationship you build with the horse, like you would your own dog, for example, you have them different kind of interactions with them. So definitely just...
I think I met Chester at one of your holiday programs.
I was going to say, you must have met Chester.
Yeah.
You must have seen him.
I met, I don't know, I forgot his name. Is it Tash or Mush?
Mo.
Oh, the one with the moustache.
The horse had a bigger tash than me.
Yeah.
It's curly.
Mo.
Yeah, no, he's got his moustache.
Yeah, well, his name is Samba, but he's nicknamed Mo for mustache.
Mo.
And something else I think they've nicknamed him Mo for, but Mo.
You want to tell us about your little program you got going on, the holiday program you got going on?
Little.
Oh, not like that.
Take that back. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, so what is it? Week number 6 tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we've been having our sessions on a Monday with our children.
Is it every Monday?
It's been every Monday.
For the 6 weeks, right?
Throughout the 6 weeks, yeah.
So is that every holiday? Even half terms?
Yes.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh.
I think we've gone all the way through.
Okay.
So yeah, we've had some amazing groups this summer with our coming and doing our riding and helping out with the horses and just learning a bit about how to look after them. So yeah, it's been a busy summer, I can't lie. Looking back on it, I'm like, wow, we've had so many kids come through.
It's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot every day, every Monday. So what do you do on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday then?
We're not Sarah's at the stables on the weekend,
okay,
because she also does time working there.
Yeah.
But we only at the moment are running on a Monday, and that's just a day that we've been able to facilitate with our stable partners.
How much children can your group take at one time? Because you got 2 groups, right? One in the morning and one in the...
Yeah, that's what we offer.
We've been taking maximum 8 per session. So this Monday we actually have a total of 16 kids.
For the whole day?
For morning session and afternoon session.
Is that because the amount of horses available at
Pretty
the time?
much, yeah. And what we feel is a safe amount.
Okay, I see.
As well, like we are volunteer based, so the main workers are myself, Sarah, Sophie and Sam. Okay. That's the 4 of us. But otherwise, we do work around like the volunteers, the other girls that have horsey knowledge that come and join us and come on board with us.
Yeah.
But having smaller groups, we get to interact with the kids a lot more. We want to make sure that
you build.
Yeah, like we're able to focus on this one kid. So when we do it by 8, we tend to split them into 2 groups. So it's 2 groups of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's just a lot more interaction with them. They actually learn. They feel a lot more safer because some of them it's their first time.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're able to focus on them a lot more. And as well, it is the sake of us with 8 in total of how many horses that we actually can rent from Kingston.
Oh, I see.
So,
is it ponies or full-on horses?
We have a mixture.
Mixture?
Yeah.
Is it depending on how big the child
The
is?
size and the weight of the kid, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see.
So there's that to figure out as well. If we've got a couple of kids that are similar heights and weights, and we've only got a couple of horses that are available, how do we fit that all in? So
they got pre-book basically.
Yeah, we have an information sheet that the parents,
Oh wow! Well done to you lot, man. Well done, man.
Thank
6
you,
weeks.
thank you.
6 weeks of pounding.
It's been a good 6 weeks though.
Good.
It's been really, really good.
Good, man.
Yeah.
I think it's been a big learning curve. Like we've realised things that we can improve on, things that we've done a little. So it's not every week has been exactly the same. Like we have tweaked it slightly, very slightly here and there.
Yeah.
But I've quite enjoyed it. It's been quite fun.
It's been nice to have, you know, Monday after Monday rather than just doing a couple and then there being like a school term and then waiting to the next half term. It's been nice to keep the ball rolling, kind of get a feel for what it would be like if we've got our own yard and our own stables and this is a day to day, you know.
So you can manage?
So 100%.
That's good.
100%.
That's good.
Yeah.
You know, I remember one horse that particularly stuck in my head. Spider-Man. Children loved him.
Yeah, he's the favourite.
He's the favourite.
He's one of the favourites.
Why?
Do you know, he's such a sweetheart.
I liked him as well.
He's just got such a nice temperament, and I think also because he's called Spider-Man,
and he's got a Spider-Man head collar.
Yeah, it does draw the attention of the kids.
But he is a very relaxed, chilled horse. So when there's a new rider that comes, he's not like. He doesn't move quickly, or you know, like it makes kids jump. Like he just stands there, and they're able to stroke him.
He knows the program.
Like he will just stand there and let the kids groom him and kind of learn about the different parts of the horse body or whatever. He's just there for it. He's just such a good boy.
You see your land where you're at, where the land where UEA is at
Kingston.
How big is it?
It's 4 acres.
4 acres.
I'm glad you knew that.
About 4 acres.
4 acres.
It's quite big, yeah.
Horse riding's seen as a upper class thing more.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the urban youth ain't really getting into it. So you lot are like
that's the important thing of us.
The bridge.
Definitely. I remember. So the stables that I was at when I was a teenager was quite close to my secondary school. And I remember at some point being almost shy to tell people that I'm involved with horses because they would automatically assume that I've got money. I didn't come from a money background. So for me, it almost become a hindrance kind of just going forward because I was automatically put in a box and not even a box that was true to my actual financial situation.
Is it obviously because I don't really know about the cost of riding horses. Is it affordable like that?
Do you know what? I think
honestly
it can be.
Yep.
But it's even things like buying your own riding helmet, like your own riding boots, like these little things. They cost money,
especially for a child that's growing out of it quite often.
That's
I mean, there are some more affordable places where you can get stuff, and slowly we're starting to see more of that, which I think is also really important. You know, being able to go into certain sports shops and get a pair of riding boots.
Yeah, Sports Direct, isn't it?
Yeah, when I was a kid, no, like you'd have to travel somewhere or you'd have to get, you know, like the magazines with the catalogue number. But, you know, things are slightly different. It's improving.
They should substitute cars for horses again, man.
Whoa, you see these petrol crisis.
Hey! Is that a campaign I see coming, girls?
But do you know what? Someone said something to me and it made me think, like, back in the day, if you had a horse, you were just normal. And if you had a car, you were seen as like
wealthy, rich.
But now it's like everyone drives cars, and if you got a horse, you're seen as like, obviously you must have money.
I think I saw that as well during like the COVID. It was like a trend.
And it's like an interesting way of looking at it because it's true.
Maybe the cost of stuff was different back then as well. Hay might have been cheaper than it is now.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it costs to feed a horse. How much it costs to feed a horse?
It's a lot. And this is one thing that we always say, like when we get asked, oh, how much is it to get a horse? And it's like, to buy a horse is not the problem.
It's the maintenance.
It's to keep the horse.
100%.
We're talking dental. You got to think their hoofs are basically toenails. They have to be cut every few weeks and shaved and re-hoofed.
So what, the horses in the wild?
Re-shoed, sorry.
What were their hoofs? The hooves need cutting?
They're constantly on the move.
They're on the,
yeah.
So we're talking about horses that live in it's like you've taken them from their natural environment to somewhere else. So naturally they change.
Okay.
So in a sense of...
That makes sense.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So like their teeth need filing. Yeah. They need vaccinations. They need, if they get too fat, or they need to have their saddle checked, or do you know what I mean? Like
there's a lot that comes with
if they injure themselves, you have to call a vet. I think it's like a £90 just to call out the vet. That's not if anything's wrong.
Their teeth needs filing.
Dental,
yeah.
Oh, so they know that.
That's the thing. There's
knowledge bullet.
And then you're talking about stables that you need to keep them on, and then the food, and it's like
there's a lot that comes with it, and that's just one horse. So imagine if you've got stables with 10 horses,
40 plus,
you
like
know,
Kingston.
There's a lot to. But you know, if you've got the right routine and the right people working with you,
it can be
then it definitely can be done. It just, you need to know what you're doing. I think at least a little bit, you know.
Now you lot are leaving a legacy still. I can't even deny it, man. I saw one of your posts. It said, "Ride out racism."
Yeah, love them.
You love it. Look at you.
I can't say nothing else. That's.
So you need to get riding then. You need to get you. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Be all Django, and I'll get all Django.
The thing is, I think, you know, it is a bit daunting, but once you're up there, and you realise you're good, and you relax, you enjoy it. It's nice. Have you ever ridden before?
I'm thinking about it now. I don't know.
See, I'm panicking.
Have you ever ridden a horse, donkey, camel?
Yeah, you must do
anything.
No.
Nah.
Just these 2 feet have took me everywhere.
Alright, got to
4 feet
out,
can take you further. Hoofs even.
I bet. Feed Factor.
Feed Factors.
Yeah, who are they?
Big them up, first of all.
Shout out Feed Factors. Feed Factor, they are our first sponsors.
Okay.
So they sponsor us monthly, and that helps us pay towards... Sometimes we do have parents that can't afford for one or even more of their kids to come and ride.
Okay.
And Feed Factors just gives us the ability to say, Mum, it's cool, we got your kid. And we will actually pay for the rental of the horses for their children to come and ride.
Big up Feed Factors, man.
Yeah, big up Feed Factors.
But it's important. This is a support that we need, so we can.
It goes towards a lot. Like even like for us, sometimes traveling is sometimes hard. So it goes towards our travel.
That's good.
It helps us with our lunch.
That's cool.
Even like we try to put on little things here and there, and obviously it costs us to rent. Once again, if we don't want to overcharge the parents, we take care of some of the cost just so we can keep the cost for the parents at a minimal.
You don't want to scare the parent away, do you? Because
it's an expensive field. Life's expensive, so why should it be expensive for your kid to be a kid?
Yeah, literally.
But everything's expensive when you focus on it. Football, you're gonna have to buy football boots, socks, shin pads.
Is that? I think
it's part of the kit, right?
It comes back down to that stereotype of horse riding being like an elitist thing. Do you know what I mean? Because realistically, when it comes down to it, I'm at a point where I'm like, when I've got kids, I will just get them the most basic pony. I'm not even buying no saddle, nothing. They will learn how to ride just by sitting on the horse's back. Do you know what I mean? You can really like break it down as simple as you want it to be. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Something's only as big as you make it. But to do things in a comfortable way, to do things, you know, according to certain standards that we have in this country, comes with money.
I've got a question for you though.
Shoot.
If I had a child that was disabled,
and
they wanted to ride a horse, how would you lot accommodate them?
Well, it depends on the disability. It's not a problem.
A bit more details.
Let's say the child can't walk.
So right now, that is something we may struggle with a little bit, but we're working on getting stables that can facilitate to disability needs. Yeah. There are stables that do exist that facilitate things to disabilities, like being paralysed, even certain implications where the child may not be able to hold on. There are stables that are running specifically for that.
Chariots, what did it? Chariots.
What's that?
But they can sit on, and the horse pulls them.
Like
a cart and carriage.
I mean, I think, that would be probably easier.
It's not the same though.
But yeah, there are stables that are designed specifically for that. The horses have had extra education that enable them to be more
different
suitable.
equipment. So with someone, let's say that if they are paralysed, there are certain saddles that are made that can strap the legs in place to hold them.
Okay.
So do you know what I mean? Right now we don't have that equipment where we are, but we do facilitate to, certain disabilities. So if we're talking about, a child being autistic, anything, certain impairments, then we're able to facilitate to them, and we're happy to have them.
It's always worth a conversation with us as well. There's certain things that we've thought we might not be able to accommodate to until we've sat down and actually thought about it as well. So, it's something we're working on.
Right. UEA is actually, I can see it in 5 years' time on the side of a bus. Literally.
Inshallah. I was just thinking, imagine just because in McDonald's and Peckham, just having my little toffee latte and then just,
As you said, it's a stereo type of mindset everyone's got, right? So you lot actually breaking barriers.
100%.
You are.
Yeah.
Because I as you know from this conversation, I'm not experienced with horses at all. It's because of you guys I got to know a bit about horses. And my son got to experience the horses as well.
Need to bring him again.
Yeah, man. So big up Mr. 27.
Big him up.
Locked in still.
Mo's waiting for you again.
So maybe in the future you may see me on a horse.
Hope so.
I don't see why not. We could have done this whole
challenge for you.
We could have done this whole thing on horseback. Maybe next time. Update.
Sarah.
Yes.
Tell me about your first horse riding experience.
Okay. My first horse riding experience was in Dulwich Park. It was like a summer, like they have fun days.
Yeah.
It's one of those, and there was horses, and I remember it was a horse called Donut.
Oh.
I remember it so clearly. And it was just like a silly thing, sitting on the horse being led round up and down. And I'd always been into horses, but that was the first time I'd sat on an actual horse, not a donkey. So it was a big moment for me. I don't know. I must have been about 6, I'd say. 5 or 6.
And you?
Does it have to be in chronological of age?
No,
because I can't remember much.
All right, your most memorable experience then.
Oh, there's too many of those, isn't it?
The most memorable. It would probably have to be on my dad's goddaughter's horse, Teddy. We was doing jumping, and I think I fell off him 6 times in one session. Oh. And my dad was going nuts at me, what are you doing? I was my foot kept falling out of the stirrup. The first time the stirrup broke, I think I told you the story. The stirrup broke, and then the second time it just fell off. It was just the strap just came off, and then I think the third time my foot came out, and I just kept falling.
Oh.
And it was one of them ones, when you fall on your back and you're like,
you wind yourself.
Was that your worst fall, you say?
No.
No.
Oh. My worst fall was the one I told you last week when I fell in stingy nettles, and it was the stingy nettles that are not spikes but they're fluffy, and when you touch it itches.
Yeah.
Well, I fell off a horse in nettles, and I had nettles all over my arms, up my back, down my legs, and just was itching like crazy. But
have you ever been kicked by a horse?
Yeah, but not properly.
No.
I've been kicked in my thigh, but it was more like a brush kick, it just caught the side of my thigh. And then I've had a few attempted kicks, including at Freedom Yard. Oh. But
do you know when a horse is going to kick, or it just...
Not always.
Not always.
Not always. You can have an idea if they're in a bad mood, for example.
And depending on the horse, you can anticipate that this one's likely...
This will be someone more aggressive, right?
I wouldn't say aggressive. I think I'd take it as they're misunderstood, and there's something going on with that horse, whether it's discomfort or it actually has trauma. personally. I don't think it's just a grumpy or a bad horse. Like there's something going on that we don't know, and I don't have the time to pinpoint and work with the horse to find out what's the problem here.
I get you.
But yeah, I think it can be.
What are you, Sarah?
Have I been kicked?
Yeah.
I've been kicked by one very small horse in my time. Very, very small. Like
Bobby Small?
Smaller, like Jack. Like
okay. Jack was the tiny. Do you remember the tiny Shetland?
The Shetland Putnam.
A miniature Shetland.
A miniature Shetland. You can get smaller. Wow.
And the thing is, it didn't hurt, but I was in shock and I was like, "Rah!" Like I weren't expecting that from you, because he was in front of me and he kicked with both back legs out straight into my leg.
Ooh.
And it didn't hurt. And he's so small, he doesn't have horseshoes on either, so it was fine.
Okay,
but
no metal.
Just like, rah, like you actually tried to do a double barrel.
Do you not have a favourite horse?
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Don't worry, the horses ain't listening.
I do. I'm not afraid to say it. I do.
I find it very hard to commit to a favourite because I have many favourites for many different reasons. And I find myself going to different horses throughout the day for like different conversations.
Okay.
So yeah,
cool. It's your thing.
I can't really pick just one.
I think I definitely have 3 favourites.
See, even she's got 3.
But I think there's one that's like the top of the top, but there's like 3.
Okay, who's your top of the top?
Topper?
The top.
Look at her changing her mind.
Because it's a tight one between Horatio and Castro. So Horatio is a private horse that's owned by a guy who's actually donated a lot of money to us before. Funny enough, 2 of his horses are one of my favourites. So he has a horse called Horatio and a horse called Ace.
Oh, I do love Ace.
And Castro is a privately owned horse from Emirati lady.
He is the most
Spanish
horse.
But his character is like crazy.
Yeah. He's definitely like
At
up
the
there.
top.
Yeah, definitely.
So I battle between Horatio and Castro being my favourite.
See, Horatio, I think I've always looked at him and really liked the look of him.
Yeah.
And his hard work. You have to kind of find his good side, don't you, for him to allow you in his space almost. He's quite...
But that's the thing, he does allow you. He wants you in his space. But he plays bougie.
You've got to work it out with him.
He does. I've got so many videos, and I actually started to record him, and I don't know if you've seen it on my Instagram story, but he does this thing where he'll like stamp his foot and he puts his ears back and he really looks like he's going to bite you because he like clamps his mouth. But the moment you get close to him, he actually puts his head on your shoulder and pulls you towards him.
Yeah.
And he kind of wants you to scratch his neck and like cuddle him.
It's
so that's what I'm like, you're just misunderstood. You want to be this thing that you're not, but really and truly you just want to hug.
It's true. A lot of them,
that's my thing with Horatio.
They'll like kick the door or do things that can be perceived as aggressive, and then you go over to them and they physically pull you in for a cuddle. Like they actually want that interaction.
Wow.
So,
and you're right about the trauma. They don't talk, do they? So you don't know where they come from. You don't know what's happened to them.
Exactly.
And trauma does affect us.
Yeah.
So of course,
you don't know if that's in their stomach, if they got a bad tooth.
Yeah.
You don't know if their equipment is rubbing or it's sitting on their back or it's uncomfortable for them. And these are things that I think even owners sometimes lack to kind of look into. They're just like, oh, they're in a really funny mood. And it's like,
but
so
why?
would I. If there was something wrong with me and I can't tell you...
Yeah.
My tooth's hurting or my back's hurting or there's a stone that's annoyingly in my foot, like help. So a lot of the time I don't blame the horse.
How often do you check the hooves for stones and stuff? How often do you do it? Every day?
You should check
before riding and after. Like, so we actually, because they're not our horses, but obviously we make sure we clean their feet before they ride, and then after, before we put them in their stables or in their fields, we do clean their feet again.
So you said something about Shetland pony earlier.
Oh, that kicked me.
Yeah. So how many different breeds of horses are there?
There's loads.
There's loads.
Literally loads.
I was going to say, do you know the number? Was you about to say
no,
a number?
No, I wish. I mean, even just in, let's say, the UK.
What do you mean loads? It's like we're talking 20?
No,
50?
Hundreds.
Yeah,
different breeds of horses?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Definitely.
I'd say.
Okay.
Because even in the UK, we've got, I think it's about 10 native horse breeds.
Okay.
So horses that are from here originally. You got countries like Iceland. They've got, I don't know the name of it, but they've got a breed of horse that's completely unique to their country. and I think it's even illegal to take them out of that country
really?
or bring another horse breed in. Like, they're very
I don't even know
keen on keeping
that's good, though.
a straight bloodline. Like, there's so many
Pedigree, innit? Pedigree horses.
literally.
No, you need that, though.
Protect
You need
them.
that.
Yeah,
Do you lot ride with a saddle more time?
most
of the time, yeah.
Not a rug?
It's usually bareback, so nothing.
Nothing.
But I
Is it dangerous?
haven't ridden bareback for years.
I
Other than
rode-
Chester.
Is it dangerous riding bareback? Because there's nowhere to put your feet, right?
I don't.
Or do you
We
camp
actually
it
had
around the
this
horse?
conversation, didn't we?
I
We had
don't know.
a
I don't know.
No, we had a
it's-
debate
it's
about
'cause
the
it's a
stirrups
good
the other
question
Yeah.
because like when you're riding, you put your feet in something metal called stirrups.
Yeah.
And a lot of people really rely on their stirrups whilst they're riding
Yes.
for balance, for movement, for comfort. And realistically, the only purpose of stirrups is for you to be able to comfortably get on your horse.
So people adapt to it.
People have just become so used to it. That's what I say, when I've got kids, I would literally take everything off them.
Okay.
Because all these things, these man-made things,
Yeah.
like a lot of the things we don't need. But it's more comfortable, it's more convenient, and in some cases more safe. So yeah, I would say having a saddle makes you safer because you've got options. Of
Depending
what
where
to
you're
hold.
riding, I would never, even for myself, if it meant that I was going out and going like on the road, I don't think I'd ever ride without a saddle.
Yeah, no, not when there's cars.
Yeah, just because if it was a thing where the horse was to spook and swerve, I don't have the support of my stirrups to kind of help me push my
Rebalance.
feet down and hold
So a lot
myself
of core
in
strength,
place.
innit?
Yeah.
On a horse, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't really see a lot of overweight people on horses. Or do you? I don't know. You lot at the riding school.
Oh,
don't
you do.
do.
You do.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
even that, there's certain horses that are obviously bigger stature, so they can carry heavier weight.
know?
Yeah. So
But I think that's something as well that's kind of not seen. You don't see like bigger men or women
No, you don't.
riding,
When
but
you see jockeys, they're short. And they're
yeah,
skinny,
short and
innit?
small. But that's because the horse needs to run at a certain speed.
Yeah, of course.
But
Like you
they-
say, stereotypical.
they
That's
do
what you
exist.
see.
Yeah,
What I know, innit?
But
You
once
know what I
again,
mean?
that's the representation
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah,
There's not much of, bigger women or bigger men that are riding, but they do
literally,
exist.
I think to be a professional jockey, I think you have to be 8 stone and under, which is
What?
like
8 stone.
It's,
That's a child's weight.
Yeah, it's around 8 stone, I believe,
There definitely is a bracket like on weight.
which obviously cuts out a huge group of people
Yeah.
in terms of participation.
I think it's for the speed, right? So the horse can get
Yeah.
the maximum speed, yeah?
Is because even like the saddles, if you look at horse racing, their saddles are completely different to what you'd see in show
They're
jumping or
flat and just really
dressage.
small.
It's like what's more aerodynamic.
Yeah,
Type of built,
they're,
yeah.
they're tiny.
It's really and truly, it's not really a saddle. It's more just a strap with the stirrups on so they can stand.
Yeah,
Do you not go watch races?
we have,
did,
yeah,
we did.
Yeah.
Do they still beat horses when they're running?
Unfortunately, yeah.
How do you not feel about that?
Don't like it, but
It's not nice, but at the same time, I feel like in other areas of horse riding, there's certain things that are used as well, like spurs. Do you know what spurs are?
No.
They're like the like
Spikes.
cowboys, where
Back of
the
the feet.
spikes in the back of their
and they dig it in
boots.
the back of the horse. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, in this country, there's more regulations on how you can use them or
Health and
whatever.
safety.
But there's a lot of different things that we have like access to or use of that, if you look at it from a kind of nice, comfortable point of view for the horse, maybe it's not so great.
Have you not ridden on a beach?
No, I haven't.
I have.
I haven't.
What, not in this country? Or this country?
Yeah, this country.
Oh, whereabouts?
I went to Devon.
Okay.
I've ridden on Camber Sands
Oh.
and Swansea, which I think is in Devon, but another part.
That's good.
All right, cool. Let's talk about phobias. People are... not like myself, but...
Oh, well,
other people that I know could
a
be
friend.
scared of horses.
Yeah.
How do they conquer that fear, and what would UEA do to help them conquer that fear?
You want to start?
I think it would depend firstly on what aspects of the horse that they're scared of. I mean, if it's a thing of they're scared of a horse that bites, or they're scared of being bitten by a horse, then put them with a horse that's not known for biting for a start, to kind of just show them that it's not every horse is going to do that to you. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I think, like I've already kind of put in place in the beginning of when we start our sessions for the purpose of if kids are scared of the horses. So when we do start, we do have what I call it an icebreaker, but we don't say that to them.
It definitely
Is
like,
as soon as they join us, it's this is this horse, this is this horse, this is this horse. We're gonna groom.
Oh, you let them.
And I make them groom. They stroke the horse
before you ride.
Before they ride. Naturally, we do groom our horses before they get ridden.
Yeah.
But we make sure, and I make sure, that they have at least 10 minutes grooming, because already that builds that kind of relationship that, okay, I've groomed this horse, I've brushed him, he's okay. And each of our horses are different. So one of our horses called Custard, he's a lot more nosy. So when you're grooming
I remember
him,
Custard.
Yeah, the sandy colour one.
Can't forget about that one.
Custard wants to smell. Do you have food? He's quite fidgety.
He's very
inner,
smell you. He wants to know.
And then there's little Jack, who's a tiny horse. He wants to smell you, and because he's so tiny, people just think he's cute and they think he's harmless. He could obviously cause harm if he bit, but it's that, like, I want you to experience and brush, and they're okay. And then it's right, okay, now we're going to go over here with the horses. I've already built that trust. You've stood face to face with this horse and you've stroked it now and you've brushed it. Horse is cool. Let's go and ride. But I think if there was other precautions that I would put in place, if it was possible for me, but we don't with time, I would make them do more with the horse, in a sense of, right, this is your horse, stroke it, get comfortable, lead the horse, that really bond with it.
What is a horse's average lifespan? I'm unaware of that.
30, isn't it?
I would say
30 years.
Yeah.
30
Oh
years.
wow.
Like 28 to like 30, but they have been known to live longer.
Some of them.
Yeah.
I think even at Kingston, I think one of the, if I'm correct, don't quote me on this, but I'm sure one of their horses did die at about 38,
Really?
I believe. Wow. I think that was
I'm pretty sure.
Barney. I don't know if he was 38 or 36, but he was in his 30s.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw something recently. It was like oldest horse, and it was like 40 plus.
40 plus.
I think that would also be like lifestyle, breed, health
Quality
and stuff
of-
like that, quality of
food.
life.
Quality of life, 100%.
But they can live 20 plus years anyway, at least.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
You wouldn't expect it.
No, I had,
It's like
I
a
had
dog,
15
like 8 years,
years in
20
my head for some reason. Then you said 20 to 30,
Yeah.
40 years. Whoa.
Yeah, it's a long lifespan.
All right, ladies, listen. I was on the internet minding my business as you do, you know.
Just Googling.
Yeah, just Googling. And I just typed in UEA and something popped up.
Yep.
It was a ZZ Mills with Fecky interview.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
And I saw
Did
it
you
was
see us?
in the middle of the stable.
Nice, you saw it.
Yeah, I was like, wow. And I did see you lot, actually. You had the
Yeah.
black horse, right? The big black horse.
Lily. So she's like a reddy brown colour.
What did you have?
Had coconut.
He's also like a reddy brown colour.
How did that come about? That interview. And why did they choose?
Freedom.
Oh, okay.
So Freedom was in Fecky had a music video, Red Wine.
Yeah.
Have you heard it? With
Highly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's on a white horse.
Yes.
That's one of Freedom's horses.
Oh, so was it okay? So that video shot in Leicester, or was it shot?
I don't know.
itself?
I don't actually know.
Was taken out from.
I know the horse was moved, so I don't know where they took the horse. So I can't tell you where the location of that video was. I don't actually know.
Right, it's Freedom.
But it's one of Freedom's horses that he's loaned out to one of his UEA girls as well.
Okay.
And then Fecky basically said that ZZ Mills has an interview coming up, but she wants it to be on a farm or at stables. Can he help? And he's like,
So
I
she
can.
requested that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But Fecky came to Freedom.
Okay.
And Freedom said, I can, but it would be easier for you guys in London to go and meet my girls in London and have them. So then, Fecky's manager got in contact with me, and literally within a couple of weeks we made it happen. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what was going on. Literally, it was till the day when the managers came and said, right, what can we do? But we had already planned, like, these are the horses. I'd shown them their horses, shown them the facilities before they actually came. And it kicked off and it done quite well, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a really smooth day.
Did you see the comments? The comments were like, the hijabis, the hijabis, the hijabis.
Yes, let's talk about them, because Nike make custom.
They do, which is pretty much what I only wear as well.
Yeah, I saw Khadija? Is it Khadija?
Yeah.
I saw her. She's sponsored by them, isn't she? Or sponsor?
I don't know if she's sponsored or if she was used for an advertisement. I'm not actually. I don't really know. But she was definitely in a Nike advert, and I think we posted it on our page as well.
Yeah, I think that's where I saw it.
I reshared it.
So, is that a common thing now for women to wear hijabs? I mean, the Nike sportswear.
It's getting more common.
Yeah. I mean, literally, that's like the only thing I rock.
For you, it's religion reasons, right?
Yeah.
But is it better for women to tie their hair back while riding, or to make no difference?
What do you mean, like just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
Well, with the hats, you have to have a really low bun, just because the hat does cover the majority of your skull.
Yeah.
So even your hair has to be low down, like pretty much on your neck back.
Okay.
So it doesn't really make a difference with the Nike hijab. I prefer the Nike hijab when I'm working because there's less excess.
It looks neat as well.
Yeah,
and it's breathable. So even when I put my helmet on, I'm not too hot. And when you have like thick hair like mine and then scarf and helmet, it's hot.
It's too much.
So with the Nike hijab, it just gives me a lot more like flexibility with my head and just heat and...
It looks dope, man. It definitely suits you as attire, man.
It's definitely more practical as well, because even I've got one for riding. I don't really wear it if I'm doing yard work or whatever, but to wear a scarf like this, it's just not practical. It will slip whilst you're riding. Like, it's just not going to happen. So yeah, it's good. Nike sport that out.
Who's your horse riding inspirations, if you have any? Did you grow up with anyone that was like, that's my guy, that's my girl?
I did, but it was a bit of a weird one. Pippa Funnel.
This is my girl, you know. Do you know what?
Basically, Pippa Funnel was like the equestrian girl game.
A game?
Yeah. Pippa Funnel.
What year was it?
Oh, I was a kid.
Must have been like 2000.
I think I was about 9 or 10.
2005.
And if you don't mind me asking, what did she do?
She created. Yeah, she's an inventor.
Okay.
Olympic medalist as well.
Isn't it primarily in jumping? I know she did overall, but wasn't she primarily a jumper?
I'm not too sure what her like specialty is, but I know her from the Olympics mainly.
Okay, but yeah, she created a PC game. This is obviously PC time. This is before everything else.
Okay. This is interesting.
It was basically
going way back.
It was literally called Pippa Funnel. And you had your own stables and your own horses, and you could like clean your horse, groom your horse, train your horse, hack your horse. So that was like my little PC game. My dad actually bought me a whole PC so I could play Pippa Funnel and my Barbie games.
That's like
big up Barbie.
Tamagotchis back in the day, innit?
Kinda, yeah. It was just like my little virtual game. Sorry.
That makes sense, though.
I actually got Pippa Funnel on the Nintendo Wii when it came out, and there was another horse called like Me and My Horse.
You was a fan.
Listen, I was a big horse girl. Everything was horses. Don't bring me a Barbie unless Barbie had a horse.
Yeah, for real. And a trailer to come with it. For real.
So I think that was like
that's
my
dope,
only like, let's say like horse inspiration when I was growing up, just because she was like the only one that I knew, because she gave me games.
Okay, see, I remember the game, but I've never played it all. But I remember her primarily from seeing the Olympics. So I remember London had the 2012 Olympics, and in my head I was like, oh, I'll be old enough to ride in the Olympics. And that's what I wanted to do when I was younger. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
The inspiration she left.
So that's kind of someone that's always stood out in my mind. But I'll be honest, there's not really anybody that really sticks out in my mind apart from her.
Okay. I guess though, look what she's done. She's made a game.
Yeah, for real.
Wow. There's big things out here when you got a game named after yourself, innit? Real talk. Wow. What is it like tackling the Muslim community about the equestrian lifestyle? Are they hard to talk to?
There's no tackle.
No?
Yeah, I was going to say, what?
Because it's, for us, it's like, as I said, in Islam, it's considered as a sunnah. And a sunnah is like following the ways of the Prophet.
Okay.
And that was something that was advised. So in sports that are considered as sunnah sports are a number of things: horse riding, wrestling for men, swimming, archery.
Okay.
So it already appeals to the Muslims because it's something that's been advised for them to take part in.
Do you see a lot of Muslim children coming to your schools?
Majority. Yeah. We have a lot. Yeah. We even had like a couple of events.
Yeah, I remember actually.
We had a couple of events where we literally have an Islamic youth club. who ride with us. We haven't had them for a little while just because they've been busy, but we actually do have like a partnership with them where they pre-book and they do join us, and they come with about 15 kids.
Today we're talking about breaking stereotypes, right? Because we don't know much about horses, but we're going to learn today. Horses don't just eat hay, definitely not. No. Can you tell us about the diet of a horse, please?
Well, diet does also depend on a few things. Okay. Yeah, so you have to take into consideration their size, their weight, their height, their workload,
their health,
any underlying health conditions.
Is it mainly fruit and veg?
No, fruit's more...
It's more of a supplement,
sugary,
isn't it?
So you have to... Horses can have diabetes as well.
Your mind's being blown this morning.
So,
I know nothing, guys.
So don't get me wrong, they do, from what I'm aware of, they do have, let's say like how we would have like a Sunday meal or like a treat. They will have like a treat meal of like sugar beet, which is, the little cubes of sugar that's basically like melted down in the water. But I would say it's mainly like considered as like nuts, types of hay and different grass and different like foraging types of food.
You know what surprised me when I saw the horse eat and how it flattened the grass? That actually kind of surprised me because I thought it would tear it, but it actually just flattened it. Do you get what I mean?
What do you mean?
That's a good observation. I'm interested.
I think I was Chester. I was watching Chester eat, and I was watching the grass. I was like, you lot don't need to mow the grass then, because the way they eat the grass, it's actually flat.
They got flat teeth, so they just grab, cut.
I always thought it was a tearing thing.
Oh, like from the root out.
They actually yam it too.
Yeah, they could literally just keep going all the way along.
Bad. I need to get a horse, man. I have to get a horse one of these days. I have to get a horse. Girls, thank you for...
no problem.
Yeah, blowing my mind. Oh, man. I feel like I missed a big chunk of life learning all this today about horses, if I'm being honest with you.
So it's a cool thing to be in.
It is.
I think obviously now being an adult is something I'm very proud of.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think definitely growing up, it wasn't something I was never proud of. I was always excited, but it wouldn't be something that I would flaunt. Where today I'd be like, I'm a horse rider. I ride horses. Yeah, because I ride horses.
You know what? Growing up, I always thought I could ride a horse, but I never got to. So when you see a horse, you always think, I could ride that. But when you're actually confronted with the task of actually getting to ride a horse, it's like...
There's so many people where...
Anxiety attacks.
I've had enough where I'm like, stop telling me it's easy. Stop telling me that you just sit there. Cool, you come.
It's that confusion when there are times that Sarah came with me, so I'm going back into riding lessons. Okay. So my mindset is, if I'm going to teach kids, I have to learn and know myself. Yeah. So I put myself back in. I'm a bit rusty, so I'm going back into riding lessons. Sarah came to a session with me a few Mondays ago. I got off this horse, read like this microphone, sweating, because it was hard work.
It's a mad workout.
I didn't realise how much work it is, again, to put in everything. And they put me on a bit of a difficult horse because they were assessing me. So they wanted to see my riding ability. So they put me on one of their most difficult horses. And it was just the fact that if a horse doesn't want to go, it doesn't want to go. And I got to make it go. I literally got off and I was like... and my body was aching. And then to explain to someone a few days later why I feel like I've just been doing deadlifts in the gym, my back's hurting, my stomach, my inner thigh, my arm muscle.
A lot of muscles are working.
Muscles I don't ever use. Like my inner thigh, and I'm like, I can't walk properly. And to explain to someone it's because I was horse riding, they're like, but why? You're just sitting on it. And it's like...
To be fair, you have to see it, though.
I wish I was just sitting on it.
You have to see it to believe it, because
you have to experience it.
Yeah, you have to do it yourself. Even when you're not riding the way we are and it's your first time, just by us saying squeeze the horse, squeeze it.
What does that actually mean?
With your legs, you mean?
Your legs are going to kill by the time you get off.
Squeeze the horse. Is the horse alright with it?
With your ankles, it's more like with the back of your feet. Just squeeze.
And hold it. Good farewell to our guests today, UAE. Thank you, ladies, for coming down and edutaining us about the stable life.
That's all right. Thank you for having us. It's been fun.
For bringing us on.
Where can they find you, look?
Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. They all come under UEA South London.
Yep.
And our website is ueasouth.london.co.uk.
Okay. Any last shout outs before we go?
Just everyone that's listening, look us up, come along, have a ride.
And obviously a big shout out to our other girls that aren't here today, Sophie and Sam.
Okay. Thank you, UEA, for coming down today. I appreciate you guys, yeah? Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Big up.
Powers.